I wanted to fashion some handles for this box I'm building so that you're able to pick it up, something to get a grip on with your fingers. And I came up with this idea of basically raising my dado blade into the wood. I tried several different ideas using different router bits and different shapes and different profiles to try to come up with a handle that both looked good and was easy to hold on to. And honestly, this idea of raising the dado blade into the wood seemed to work out the best, and I think looked the best. The first few tries at this were done with a router and a router bushing and just a rectangular shaped template, and I tried routing with first a bullnose bit and then a flat cutting bit, just trying to get a shape that was aesthetically good looking and easy to grip with your fingers. And I tried several different bits and several different shapes and widths and lengths, and none of them looked very good, honestly. Weren't all that much easier or harder to hold on to as a handle. Because I built this box out of beech, and beech tends to burn pretty easily unless your router bits are just scary sharp, and mine weren't all that perfect. Anyway, after all the different tries using router bits and different profiles, just never could come up with a handle that looked good and worked good and didn't require a whole lot of work to get it to look perfect with regard to sanding out the burn spots, etc. So after several tries with, this was with a bullnose bit, and then later I did it with a flat bit, and later I did it with I even did it with a chamfering bit, and I don't know, just none of them really looked all that good, even though they would have worked fine. I think they just would have required a whole lot of work to get them to be perfect looking, and you can see the burn marks. And I just wasn't all that happy with the final look. So I had in the past used a dado blade and basically fixing the box or fixing the piece of wood in a firm position on the table saw and then raising the blade into the wood. This particular box, is made out of a little heavier than 3/4 inch wood, and so the idea was to raise the blade into the wood about 5/8 of an inch. Got several dado blades. I've got an 8-inch Freud set. This is the one I ended up using. I've got a 7-inch wobbler. You've probably seen those or used those in the past. And I've got a 6-inch stacked dado set. But the wobbler and the 6-inch set, even though I think the 6-inch set would have made a better handle to actually raise the blade, move the box a little ways, and then lower the blade, it did not cut a flat bottom to the dado, and so the handle just didn't look that good. So this 8-inch set was the one I ended up using. I stacked it up to about 7/8 of an inch thick, mounted it on my saw, found the center of where it comes out of the saw table, marked that on my fence so I could center the box in that location. Here's just a practice piece. I tried it on again. Basically, lift the blade with the saw turned off, measure the height, remember where you are on your crank, and then, raise it 3 revolutions or whatever the number of turns that it took for you to get the blade up to the height you wanted. Then just set the box down, hold it firmly, raise the blade, lower the blade back in, and you'll see it's just a quick operation. Just raise the blade, lower the blade. Can't see anything from here, but the idea is that it's cutting this semicircular cut into the wood, and you pull it off of there. If you've centered it well, Probably would be a good idea to put a piece of tape on it just to care for any tear out, but you can see it made a good looking handle in the side of the box. I just flipped the box over, did it on the other side in the center, and ended up with, I think, a pretty good looking handle. Here's one of those. You tend to have a very sharp edge because the saw blades are sharp, and so I just by hand sanded over that opening, and what they ended up doing is sort of easing the top and bottom edge of that cutout, easing the two sloped sections to make it look a little more smooth, feel a little better in your hand, and just made it look like it was more part of the box than kind of gouged into it. So just a little bit of sanding on both sides of this. The handles, I think, ended up being very integral to the box, looking like they belonged. And I got some handles that I think will work well for lifting this box. This box is not light, but it's not heavy, and so you do need to be able to kind of get your fingers into some kind of a groove in order to pick the box up easily. So this box is almost done. It just needs a little bit more sanding and some finish, and I'll finish it up this week. Make another video then. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.